everybody, today we're going to talk about 5 easy Ramadan activities that you can do at home with your children. So at this time of year, my social media is absolutely filled with amazing women all over the world who have done these beautiful crafts and these incredible Ramadan calendars, and they're organising the house top to bottom, and they've already bought their Eid presents. And for other people like myself, that can actually be demoralising. The women out there who do these things don't do that for those reasons. They do it to inspire us and to give us ideas, and that does happen. But sometimes for some of us who are not in that place at that moment, who can't dedicate a lot of time and money into doing these kinds of activities with their children, it can be very disheartening. And so that's what I want to talk to you about today. I want to talk to you about 5 activities that you can do at home with your children that are free or very, very cheap, that are easy to do with things you already have in your home, and that will help you to create a really meaningful, genuine Ramadan experience for you and your children. So there is a coordinated blog post to go along with this video, so I encourage you to go and have a look at that blog post. I will leave the link for that in the description box below. This video is being sponsored by Mirage Stories App, and I will go into that incredible app later on in this video, but for now, let's get started. So one of the things that I love most is creating games and activities that you can do at home with your kids, where you are actually interacting with your kids, where it's fun and exciting. Now, Ramadan is all about the Quran. It's about learning more Quran, reading more Quran, and your children can take part in that too. But I want you to step away from the preconceived ideas you have already about what learning Quran looks like. I want you, this Ramadan, to make it really fun. So one idea that I have is that you all sit in a circle, all you and your kids, and you take it in turns to read a surah, an ayah from a surah. So somebody will start, read one ayah, then the next one, and you will go around the circle reading that ayah. When you get to a certain word, or a certain letter, or a certain tajweed rule, it depends what age your kids are at, the other people who are not reading have to stand up. So here we are, we're just playing the game here, and I think we're all reading a surah together in this particular game, and every time a certain letter comes up, we stand up or sit down. And as you can see, it gives you a good workout as well. What I would say though is if your children get a bit too boisterous with this, and because of course you want to keep respectful with reciting the Quran, then instead of standing up or sitting down, you could have them touch their nose or put their hand up every time a certain letter is said. So I think we were doing Fatiha, and every time Lam was mentioned, we stood up or sat down. And then we moved through the other surahs that my children know and asked them to pick a letter. And some of the letters came up very, very frequently, and other ones not so much. But the kids had a great time doing it. Another alternative you could do is to have your children do the action for certain verbs that come up, like read, or you could have them do some kind of action for say, as long as it's appropriate and respectful. Just doing these kind of games is so much fun. It gets kids moving, gets them excited, and it's a relief for them to step away from the traditional style of learning Quran. And it's just a fun way to get kids excited about the Quran. But what's very, very important is I want you, as the mum or the dad, to join in. I want this Ramadan to be a time where you are really engaged with your kids, where you play more with your kids, and I want your kids to remember that at the end of Ramadan, that Ramadan wasn't a time when mum and dad were really, really tired, when mum and dad were just not really around because they were too tired, or they're fasting, or they're too busy doing other things. I want them to remember this Ramadan as a time where you and them were engaged together in learning the Quran and doing other acts of worship. So that brings me on to point number 2. This Ramadan, why don't you create a prayer corner in your home? Now, this doesn't have to be expensive. Just find a corner in your room that you can give to the kids for the month. Put down your existing prayer mats on the floor. If you've got a small bookcase or some large baskets or something, just physically separate that area off and let your children know that this is their space to pray. This is their place where they can go to pray. And then what I want you to do is allocate your children different roles. So you might allow one child to lead the prayer, one child to be the imam, maybe another child, if you have 3 or more, to be in charge of tidying up that area. You could allow the kids to rotate between those roles, But give that authority to your children to decide. Unless they start fighting about it, then you can step in. But let them be in charge of that space, give them that responsibility, and let them decide how they use their prayer corner, prayer room. And I want you, as a mum, to take a step back from that, give them that authority, but every now and again, ask their permission to pray in that space. And they will love that. And this is something that you can do at home for free, that's easy, and that is giving your kids the right kind of message about Ramadan. So we talked about getting involved with your kids more this Ramadan, and this third point really epitomizes that. And this, not only is this free, but it's incredibly helpful. This Ramadan, I want you and your children to be partners in taking care of the house. Now that doesn't sound like much fun, I know, but your kids will actually relish the jobs that you give them if you present it well. I don't want you to say to them, oh, you know, Mommy's really tired now, I need your help. Can you do the dishes for me? I want you to tell them that you're going to let them do the dishes this month, because this month we're going to be working together. And by giving them roles within the house, you're not only showing that you value them, you're showing that their contribution is important, that you are a team.
Now, I know that you're thinking there is no way my son or daughter is going to enjoy this, and you may be right. You might encounter some resistance if they're not used to doing things around the house. But really, the lessons that they learn from working together as a team, cooperating with one another, learning to all pull together, these are really lessons that are so valuable and that they will actually start to enjoy. Then they start to feel valued and part of a team. There are lots of different types of housework and different types of ways that you can partner up with your children in the home. Kids love washing the windows, hoovering, mopping. They enjoy helping with the laundry as well, folding and putting away things, sweeping. Find the things that your children enjoy doing and work together with them to get the house tidy and do any other jobs that need doing around the house. And give them some authority as well to choose how they do it, the way they do it. And what they want to do as well. Just work together as a team and keep it joyful. If you can, if you want to, put some nasheeds on in the back and have a little dance or a sing-song as you're doing it. Keep the atmosphere light and happy. And your children will look back on these times with happy memories as a time where everyone looked out for each other and everyone chipped in.
By being household partners, you're showing your children that Ramadan is a time where you all pull together, where you all help one another, and isn't that such a beautiful lesson to learn in Ramadan? But what I want you to do again is not just give them jobs. I want them to be a part, not only of the jobs, but of the decisions. So you might want to let them decide what iftar is going to be that day, or you might want to give them the responsibility of presenting the food on the dish. You might want to work together to prepare meals. You might want to work together to clean a certain room. Allow them to choose the jobs that each person's going to do, unless they're being a bit unfair. Now, most kids at first are going to whinge about this. They're going to whine a little bit. But when they see how you're doing it with them, it's not just you give them a job and then you go off into the other room. I want you to be with them doing it together. Now, maybe you already do this, in which case that's amazing, but it's something that I'm going to try and implement this year in our home during something Ramadan. That is very, very helpful if you're on a budget. You know, so we see all these pictures of these new Ramadan books and people making these beautiful baskets, which is something that I do. But if you're on a budget, you don't need to spend a lot of money on things like that. This Ramadan, why don't you implement a toy rotation? So start now putting toys away. I put them up in my attic, wherever you can. Just hide them away from your kids. And then during Ramadan, bring out those toys again. Now, if it's already Ramadan when you're watching this, it doesn't matter. Put them away and bring them out again in a week or so. And for your kids, that will seem like new toys. If you have enough toys, you can actually rotate the toys around on a weekly basis. So when the new toys come out, they're not really new, but to your children, they're new and they're fresh and they're exciting again. And it will start a whole new cycle of imaginary play for them. Another good idea with your toys and restricting toys is to keep a set of toys, a basket of toys, that is only for quiet time. Now, I don't know about you, but when I'm fasting, I find that time around 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon onwards quite challenging. And it's a time where I just want to do quiet things and chill out a little bit and have some time to rest. And so what I would encourage you to do is, first of all, try and get your children to nap. If that's not going to happen, then put aside some toys that are just for that quiet time. Put them in a basket and say these can only be played with during quiet time, which is that time for me about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. You have to be quite strict about this, but them knowing that those special toys are only for quiet time will make them all the more excited when that quiet time comes around, and you'll get to rest during that time knowing that your kids are entertaining themselves with those toys. Those toys can be anything that you already have at home that you know your children enjoy, and you don't have to spend any money on it. Finally, this Ramadan, consider using digital resources. Now, many of you have reservations about screen time, and I completely understand that. For me personally, I think that screen time is okay in moderation when it's strictly monitored by parents, and it can bring a lot of benefit if it is monitored and if you're careful about how much screen time they have. That's the difficult bit, is being strict not only with your kids about it but with yourself. But I have discovered this amazing app that I am ridiculously excited about sharing with you. It's called the Mirage Stories App. Now, many of you will already have heard of Mirage Audio. This is the same thing. These are the same people who have created the app. And I'm going to show you the app now, but can I just say, it's phenomenal. It's so good. You are going to want to get it. Even if you don't get the paid version, at least download the free version. It's really amazing. When I saw the app, I was blown away by the quality of the whole product. They've done the most beautiful illustrations, the most incredible animation. The storytelling is wonderful, and I'm really excited to show you now. So this is my iPhone that I have this app on. If we just click on the Stories app. So this brings you to their homepage, and at the top you can see it says latest releases. So these are the things that have just come out because they are constantly adding to their to this program. It's a subscription service, so they keep adding more and more. And then the 4 categories that they offer are interactive books, we have video stories, picture books, and audiobooks. Now, audiobooks are the bits that I'm most excited about, but actually all the categories are great and they have something different to offer to all ages of kids. Now, interactive books, this is something that my littlest of kids...
Arabic letters. Naughty and nice.
I love the colours here. Right, so this is a book, an interactive book about learning the Arabic letters. It's their most basic book for beginners. So here the child is learning how to draw, how to write the letter. So we swipe down the screen and then we tap on it. So you can change the colour. And it's followed by a story that helps teach the children.
Letter Aleph is playing football in the park.
This helps teach the children the sound of the letter, which you will see later on.
Clouds appear. The rain comes down.
I love all the A's, the A's in the picture, the floating apples. And is that an aardvark or an anteater?
Letter Aleph sneezes. Achoo! Achoo! Achoo!
Isn't that adorable?
Naughty Aleph. Cover your mouth.
And then we touch him. Yay! And then it carries on, so then you do the next letter. So if we go back, the interactive books are not just Arabic letters. They also cover how to pray. Oh, is it going to work? My internet, there we go. How to pray. So we've got camel, kangaroo, makes wudu, gets ready for prayer, learns to pray. And then we have some of the 99 names of Allah. Now, the video stories, these are lovely. These are basically short video clips that are a lovely alternative to your children watching YouTube, a halal alternative. They teach really nice morals and are just adorable.
And the Donkey, read by Edmund Dane. The sun was up. The animals were awake. It was a brand new day.
As you can see, the quality is just lovely.
It was Saturday, an important day of the week for Nasruddin. It meant shopping at the market and buying himself an ice cream as a treat.
Okay, so if we go out of that. So now if we go on to the picture books cover stories from the Quran. Now these are stories that begin with the story of creation, and they cover a lot of the prophets, as well as other important figures in our religion, such as Maryam. They also have some seerah as well, of course. Now these picture books can be used in a variety of ways. If I click on the first one, would you like to continue? Let's restart it.
Mirage Audio presents
Stories from the Quran.
Now the ways you can use these picture books is either you can listen to it as I just showed you now, with the narrator reading the book to you, or you can have your child read the book to you or to themselves for fun or as part of your homeschool, or you can read the book to your children as if it was a regular picture book. So if I show you some of the beautiful illustrations inside, and we can listen to the narration as well.
From the light, he made angels, and in the dark, he placed stars. Millions of them.
You can see that the illustrations are amazing. Beautifully hand-drawn pictures. Look at that one. Wow. Okay, so if we go back to the home page, as I showed you before, you've got, I think, 6 different picture books, which are stories from the Quran that you can use and read to your children. And then we have the audio books, which is by far my favorite part. But as you can see, all the previous categories were great as well. But if you just listen to the narrator and to the quality of the stories and the writing in these audiobooks, you will be so impressed. So let's listen to Ibrahim and the Fire.
Audio presents
I'll just forward that on a little bit.
Long, long way across the desert to a fabulous city. He pretended he was on a camel and was being chased by a band of thieves. He had to ride faster and faster to escape. He could feel the reins in his hands and the wind in his hair. He leaned forward.
Isn't that beautiful? So as you can see, I personally feel like these audiobooks are comparable to any high quality audiobook that you would find on Audible or anywhere like that. And they are very well written. The language is beautifully rich. Definitely is something that I'm going to be incorporating in my home life and in my homeschool with my children. There are a lot of audiobooks here. It's not just about prophets. There are different stories about all kinds of things that would interest both boys and girls, old and young. I really would encourage you to utilize the audiobook section in their app. Sometimes people produce things for children and it's like they're talking down to them. This is completely the opposite. Everything has been done to such a high standard, and it really shows that the people behind the product really respect children and they really want to give them the best. Just so you know, the app is available in a free version and it's available in a paid version. Obviously, if you get the paid version, you get access to everything, whereas the free version is limited. But definitely at least get the free version if you can. It's available on Apple and on Android as well. And I'll leave the link for it in the description box below. This Ramadan, let's make it a time where kids remember a happy time. It's not a time where you have overexerted yourself with complicated or expensive activities for them. If you like that kind of thing, that's incredible. If you don't like that kind of thing, I want you to know that that's okay. There are things you can do with your kids to make it meaningful, to make Ramadan special. You don't have to force yourself to do things that are not natural to you. But if you do like doing them, that's awesome. I don't want you to stop, okay? But everybody is different. So I hope this has given you some ideas of things you can do for free that are easy to do in your home. This Ramadan, I want you to spend more time with your kids. Ramadan can be a time where we get really, really tired. We get very exhausted physically, mentally. And sometimes the kids can suffer. But if you take it slow, if you don't overexert yourself, particularly with unnecessary things, then you can have a beautiful and special Ramadan. Wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't it be awful, actually? Wouldn't it be awful if our kids look back at Ramadan and they thought, yeah, it's that time of year when mum is always too tired. She's always too tired to play with us. She's always sleeping, lying on the sofa. She doesn't want to do anything. Maybe she even snaps at us all the time because she's too tired. This Ramadan, why don't you take it slow and get on the floor with your kids and play with them. Read them stories. Play these games I talked about. Be partners in the home, in taking care of the home. It's these small things that make such a difference. You know, it's these small things that really impact on children. Not that big, elaborate craft that you did, you know, not that expensive toy that you bought. It's the small, regular, daily moments of joy that you bring into their lives that make an impact on them. This Ramadan, I want you to start a new tradition, a tradition where your children remember that during Ramadan, Mum is always there. She's happy, she's calm, she's not doing loads of other stuff, but she's with us, she's playing with us. And I want them to hold those happy memories with them. They should remember Ramadan as a time where their mum was always there for them. And I'd love for you to start that tradition in your home. So if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please do leave them in the comments below, and make sure you check out that app, Mirage Stories app. I will leave a link for that in the description box below too. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.